transgendered are any less patriotic than, me or you in this country. So I think people's feelings today are being hurt. And I guess it's understandable in a way if they're at their post. We had a discussion right before we went on the air, and I talked to you a little about that, me being sympathetic basically to the people that are at their post. You're believing that possibly they might be able to continue to serve. It just may be a moving forward thing from now on kind of thing, no?
Well, I think the question is, the tweet that Donald Trump put out obviously is oversimplified, but if we can look at what he said in the tweet, he said transgender individuals will not be able to serve. What I interpret that to mean is that if you're already serving, then you can't do all the things that come with transgender conduct. So if you were a biologically born male and you have not had surgical, removal of your genitals yet, and you're going around with a wig saying that you're a woman, now with this order, I would assume that one of the ways to solve the problem is to say, okay, you've got to take off the wig, you've got to use your birth name, and you're a man until you get discharged, and then you can walk away with your TRICARE benefits and your access to the VA and all of your military benefits, and then you can go and pursue a life as a woman later on. But that's how I would interpret it, is that it's the behavior that has to be corrected or brought in line with what works for the military. See, the military is not a place where you have a right to serve. The military, really, their purpose is to do what is most expedient to protect the country, and there are many people who are not suited to serving in the military. I would say that I was not suited to the military. I was in there for a short time. I was discharged with a medical discharge because of a head injury, and I just wasn't someone who was. I could serve my country much better in other ways, and I think that's probably the best thing to tell transgender people, is that if you really feel patriotic, there are many things you can do other than place yourself in a position where people's lives might be at stake because you're complicating things unnecessarily.
And I would also have to say that, some men out there are not as, understanding about the issue, and I'm sure it probably is not the best atmosphere for a lot of transgender to deal with, some guys that just might not understand it all. And I'm sure there's got to be a lot of ridicule. I mean, that was the case with openly gay men or women in the military, right?
Well, when I was in there, it was like gay jokes 24 hours a day. It really got on my nerves because there were constant jokes about homosexuality because you're a bunch of guys. You're not with your female partners. You're away, and the sexual tension runs very high. But I think partly what happens is that the LGBT movement wants to get into these institutions like the church, for instance, or the military, because they suspect that those are the institutions where their enemies congregate. And so the whole purpose is to get people in there and their bodies present among those groups of people so that they can't make those jokes. Because what they want ultimately to do is to eradicate any form of thinking that questions the legitimacy of the LGBT lifestyle.
Yes.
And, I think that there are a lot of people who have strong, very principled objections to transitional surgery and to the hormone blockers and to the medications that all of these transgender people are taking. And a lot of people who know transgender people in their life see that they're not happy before or after the transition. The transition doesn't make most of these people arrive at a point where they're happy with themselves. Often they're constantly self-critical because they don't really look like a woman or a man, and they know that, So I think a lot of people's objections to it aren't just bigotry, it's just common sense observations of what is a healthy thing to do and what's not a healthy thing to do, and a desire to have other people that they love not be negatively impacted by it. So that's the issue here in Texas with the bathroom bill. I have a daughter who's in public school. I don't want somebody with a penis going into my daughter's locker room while she's changing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You can call me whatever name you want, but I will, to the end of the day, I will keep on fighting that because it's just, that's my daughter. I love her, and I don't want her to be put through something that she doesn't have to be put through,
That's right. Now, for our audience, if you're just catching us, we're talking with Professor Lopez, and he teaches at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Dallas. Professor, you were gay at one time.
Yeah, I did. I was. I from the age of 13, that was when I was first initiated into gay sex by two older teenage boys, and I continued in that activity all the way until I was 28. So I know very much what goes on in that community. I know how it operates. There are things that I once thought were really great about the gay lifestyle, like it was a place that was very creative and witty and lighthearted and where you could just kind of let your hair down and be yourself. But I think that has really disappeared, that side of the gay community, because it's become so politicized and it has become so weaponized, if you will. It's become this thing that people use to sue their enemies or to bring down the other political party. So the times that I've been in the gay community the last couple of years, it's just a totally different place. It's not a welcoming place. It's not a creative place. If you look at the movies that they're putting out, they're becoming more and more cliched and boring and not very interesting. You know, it really, in a certain sense, I think what was perhaps admirable about that subculture, regardless of what the Bible says about the activity, even what they had that was admirable, I think, has been lost.
Now, why does a section of the gay community feel like they have to be openly gay, like flamboyantly gay? I mean, is that necessary, do you think?
Well, I think that, again, part of it is I don't believe that people are born gay. I don't believe that this is a distinct class of human beings. I think that, you know, you, me, anybody might at one point or another feel some kind of strange, you know, admiration for someone of the same sex. But I think there's a certain personality type that takes those natural feelings and then amplifies it and exaggerates it and dwells on it and then builds on it and constantly, you know, constantly reinforces it. And so because of that, I think you're always going to have a certain segment of this community which has just that highly dramatic personality that exaggerates and that blows things up and that escalates things. And so it's part of being in gay life. You have to deal with a lot of drama. You have to be quick on your feet because a lot of the communication among gay people involves one-upping each other. You know, you kind of like make a wisecrack and then you show them back with another wisecrack back. So that's why I think that, you know, you're always going to have a part of the gay community, unless the gay people who are very, very mainstream decide to totally shut them out, which I think is going to be impossible to do. You're always going to have those gay pride parades that are really embarrassing. You know, quite frankly, you're going to have gay bars that are really embarrassing because people engage in really exaggerated behavior.
I just thought, you know, if you were going to be gay, you know, kind of just like a heterosexual relationship, I don't want to know about your bedroom antics. Keep it private. Why do you have to be? I always thought it would be kind of humorous if we would have a heterosexual parade like right after the gay parade. Just do the parade to say, hey, there's nothing wrong with being heterosexual either.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't work with the heterosexual pride parade because all the women would avoid going there because they don't want to get catcalled and hit on and chased around by, you know, sexually prurient men, you know. And that just kind of shows you why these things are not the same and love is not love and it's not all the same. It's not, you can't equate them. And equality is really kind of elusive. It's impossible.
We're going to be back with Professor Lopez, and we're going to find out how he actually turned to straight and how he got married. Stick around.
Can you survive this thing called life? We're for the people, for the people, for the people, for the people is there.
It's unlike anything you've ever been through in your life, man. I was driving. This kid threw a grenade at us and went right over our vehicle. It was 12 years old.
The shockwave went through my head, rattled up my brain, and left.
Danger is around you 360 degrees at all times, and you can't unlearn that.
It's impossible to describe the sacrifices these men and women have made to protect our freedoms. And the job of rebuilding their lives is massive and growing every day. Many will need the programs offered by the Wounded Warrior Project for years to come.
I didn't know what PTSD was. All I knew is I was having nightmares. And when I got released, my reintegration was go check in at the VA, man.
My first coping mechanism was use drugs. Just numb it. Don't feel anything.
I was angry. I'm trying to pull myself out of that right now.
Your gift today of $19 per month will honor and empower these veterans so they can aid and assist each other.
The Wounded Warrior Project is a life raft.
I can say this without question that I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for it.
Wounded Warrior Project is the first step, getting back out into the world and reforming yourself outside of the service.
Call or go online with a pledge of $19 a month. You'll receive this Wounded Warrior Project blanket, and your gift will provide critically needed programs that rebuild lives.
That was my first feeling of actually being a part of something bigger than myself again.
Well, I lost a few really close friends overseas, and if I quit, I'm going to let them down, and I'm not about to do that.
I'm learning to face my fears head on. To trust and see what happens at the end.
It's a long process, but I had the drive and desire.
Please, call or go online with your gift right now.
Get ready, get set for 123 Ready TV, the brand new app that everyone's talking about for your PC or Android device that allows you access to most every movie or TV show ever made. Sound incredible? Well, it is, because once you pay $19.99, that's all you pay. Just the movies and TV shows you like without the hassle. The internet streams everything already. What 123 Ready does is it finds them, then delivers them directly to you, commercial-free. There's nothing quite like it, and it's available now at forthepeopleshow.com. That's forthepeopleshow.com. And before you buy 123 Ready TV, watch the video and see how simple it is to start watching all those movies and TV shows. If you like movies and TV shows, but don't enjoy paying for all of them, no problem. Just pay $19.99 and start enjoying countless titles and entertaining TV better than anyone. Get your 123 Ready TV for $19.99 at forthepeopleshow.com. Just click on the store page. Some things in life need a little attention. Like a plant. If not watered, it begins to turn brown. But if watered properly, its leaves turn green again. Like a plant, For the People needs watering too. Your thoughtfulness provides sustainability for us to grow and reach our full potential. You see, For the People depends on you to broadcast this program to help inform and educate folks so you can make a difference right where you are. Grab your watering can and join us as we endeavor to make a difference in people's lives each and every day. To donate, go to forthepeopleshow.com. That's forthepeopleshow.com. Just look for the watering can and water as much as you can. At For the People, our garden is full of opportunities, and planting something allows others to enjoy the benefits. At For the People, our mission is simple. Give you the news that matters with good old-fashioned common sense, mixed with a conservative point of view. Simply log on to our website at forthepeopleshow.com. That's forthepeopleshow.com. Thanks for your support. Keith Allen and For the People, as we are broadcasting with the speed of sound in the speed of now. And common sense is something that we dish up on a daily basis. And I couldn't think of a better guest today to have than Robert Lopez, who is now teaching at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. Now, you have a podcast, I understand, of your own. Where can people listen to your show?
Oh, if you go to SoundCloud.com, or you can actually get it actually at this blog. It's called cogwatchpodcast.blogspot.com, and that's Cogwatch is COGWATCH. Basically, COGS was the acronym for Children of Gays, and a bunch of us who had been raised by gay parents started this podcast to try to show the other side of the story, which we felt was being neglected, which was, how hard it was for us to grow up in that environment.
And, folks, the professor has a book, Wackos, Thugs, and Perverts, Clinton and Decadence in Academia.
Right, that's on Amazon, too, yeah.
That's on Amazon as well. And I got to ask you, I have so many questions for you, and I hope you don't mind.
That's fine, yeah, sure.
So you grew up in a gay and lesbian, household, and I've heard the conversation where people say, just because you were raised with gay people doesn't mean that you're going to become gay yourself because they're not trying to push their lifestyle on you. Would you have found that to be the experience growing up with your folks?
I did not find that to be the experience. You're exposed to a lot of homosexual activities, and you're naturally curious, and it's very suggestive to you. And typically there are people in the community who are friends with your parents who are watching everything you do for signs that you might be one of them. And also there's the problem that, once you reach puberty, if you're not gay, then you're kind of exiled from your parents' culture. So there's also a kind of desire to stay in the world that you were raised in. So the statistics actually do bear out what